Nowadays, more and more households use filtering a device or a service, and use first device and service to restrict access. And moreover, there is a effective legislation. That means that allows the subscriber to take their white phone number to wireless phone service, or they can shift their wireless phone between carriers without losing their wireless number. Therefore, the guidelines for identify location of a phone by its number is no longer applied, so it may cause source of bias. And therefore, there is a solution is designed to reduce the sum of bias. It calls random dialing. It means require choosing phone exchange or exchange blocks, and then generate random number with these blocks of locally. And that advantage is in occurrence or non-functioning number. There are a lot of this number in the U.S., especially in the big city area, and also however, there are some methods have been developed to overcome these deficiencies of directories, such as random dialing or a combination of directory and random dialing. And next is limitation on interview length. The interview length depends on the participant's interest on the topic, and the interview length about 10 minutes. 10 minutes has been thought as ideal, but more interviews of 20 minutes or more are not uncommon. And that is limitation on use speech, visual, or complex question. The telephone interview limits the complexity of survey. For participants who cannot visualize the management device that the interview is attempting to describe, and one solution has to employ a 9-point scale approach, and it asks the participant to visualize it by using telephone dial or keypad. And next disadvantage is easy of interview termination. And because the telephone interview is easier for interview to terminate the phone, and also the telemarketing practice may also contribute. And next is less participant involvement. And according to a survey, interviews by phone find that the experience to be less rewarding than the personal interview. Therefore, it makes researchers using telephone survey to attempt to improve the enjoyment of interview. And finally is the distracting physical environment. Because of replacement of phone and office phone with cellular and wireless phone, because of it may raise the concern The changing environment in which telephone survey might be conducted, the resulting quality and of data collected may under possibly distracting environment and possibly increase the refusal rate.
And I'm going to introduce the survey via personal interview. And it is a two-way conversation between a trained interviewer and a participant. And this kind of survey might have been a preferable communication method than other kinds of survey, and I will explain this later. And here are some advantages of personal interview survey. First, and it enables the interviewers to get the deep information and detail that can be secured. The information gathered from this kind of survey far exceeds the information secured from telephone interview or self-administered questionnaire via mail or computer. And also, interviewers are able to pre-screen to ensure the correct participant is replying, and they can also set up and control the interviewing condition. And also the interviewers are able to, and they are able to adjust the language of interview while observing and the problems or effects that the interview is having on the participant. And with such advantage, why would people choose to use other methods? And here are some of the advantage of personal interview survey. And probably the biggest reason is that personal interviewing is costly in terms of money and time. And the cost is particularly high if the study covers a wide range of geography. An exception to this is the survey via intercept interview targeting participants in centralized location, because in this way the cost associated with the need of the interviewers can be reduced. The second is the changes in the social climate made it more difficult. And nowadays, people are reluctant to talk with strangers and let the strangers to visit their home. And interviewers as well are unwilling to visit an unfamiliar neighborhood. And the third is that results are affected by interviewers, because the interviewers may alter the question they ask, or they may bias the result. And by comparing your research objective with the strengths and weaknesses of each method, you will be able to choose the best method to your needs. And if your investigate question call for information from hard to reach or inaccessible participants, then the telephone surveys or mail surveys should be considered. And if data must be collected very quick, then the mail surveys should be ruled out because you can't control over the returns. And if your objective requires extensive questioning and probing, then you should use the personal interview survey. And if none of the choices seem to fit your need, maybe you should combine the best characteristics of two or more methods into a hybrid survey. However, this kind of survey often costs a lot. And all researchers are confronted by the practical realities of cost and deadlines. And surveys via personal interview are the most expensive communication method and take the most field time. Telephone surveys are moderate in cost and offer the quickest option, especially when you are using the computer-assisted telephone interviewing system. Questionnaire administered by email or the internet are the least expensive. And if your desired sample is available via the internet, you will find out that this kind of survey is the least expensive one with the most rapid data availability. Most of the time, and the optimal method is will be apparent. And however, the needs of the managers often exceed their internal resources. Therefore, the managers are prompt to seek assistance from the services. And the service services vary from full service operation to specialty consultant. And if confidentially is likely to affect competitive advantage, the managers or the staff will often just bid a face or just a little and just one face to the service. And when the members of organization possess unique knowledge, they will fulfill the part of the study by themselves and ask the services to do other parts. And when the clients have difficulty with dealing with some specialties, and the research firms will offer special advantage to help their clients, which their clients are not good at. And regardless, the work may be contracted separately or as a whole. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.